Blackcoat's Daughter is a sinister tale of demonic possession and murder. While starting off slow, the movie intensifies throughout. It's quite normal to begin with, but as it goes on, it becomes more depraved and twisted. Due to the way that the film manipulates time and recast characters, it can be quite hard to follow. So I just thought I'd put together a little plot synopsis, which hopefully explains the film and also gives my theory towards exactly what I think it's about. The film follows Rose and Kat, students at a prestigious boarding school who are preparing to be picked up by their parents. Kat has a premonition in which she sees her parents' car horribly smashed up and begins to worry that they might never arrive. Rose also worries about something. She thinks she may be pregnant and delays her parents' arrival in order to tell her boyfriend. After never being picked up on the final day of school, both students must remain in the boarding dormitory until their parents arrive. Rose sneaks out one night to inform her boyfriend that she may be pregnant, and due to this will be getting a termination if it is the case. Upon return to the school, she travels down to the basement where she sees Kat performing a ritualistic prayer beside an open furnace. Meanwhile, a girl named Joan arrives in upstate New York, and whilst waiting for the bus is greeted by Bill, someone who offers her a ride, much to the anger of his wife. So that kind of introduces the characters into it, and throughout the film it focuses on their journey from normality to the very twisted. Joan awakens in a hotel room. She takes a shower and a bullet scar can be seen on her shoulder. In a flashback, a police officer shoots a rifle at her. Bill knocks and tells Joan the reason he picked her up is because she reminds him of someone. He invites her to have dinner with him at the restaurant next door, where he shows Joan a picture of his daughter, Rose. Joan excuses herself and goes to the bathroom, where she giggles and has a memory of killing a woman and stealing her identification card. Joan sees Bill talking to a cop, and whilst they are distracted, she steals a knife from a bus tray. Bill then informs Joan that they have to hit the road to beat an impending storm, and Joan goes to the car where Linda, his wife, is waiting. Linda tells Joan that Bill sees Rose in every young girl, but that she doesn't see Rose in Joan at all. Back at the school, Kat tells Rose that her parents are not coming. At dinner, Kat begins vomiting, and when a chaperone tries to comfort her, she lashes out. When Mr. Gordon, the head teacher, arrives at the house, he's accompanied by a police officer, the same officer that we saw in Joan's flashback earlier on. Upon entering the house, Mr. Gordon grasps his face in horror. In a flashback, Kat is seen answering a payphone and hears the gravelly voice on the other end, which she calls Dad. Tells her that her parents aren't coming and to kill everyone. Later, Kat is seen stabbing the two chaperones to death. Whilst one of the victims crawls along the floor, mortally wounded, Kat casually walks upstairs, returns with two pillowcases, then finishes the job. Rose goes to the bathroom and gets a period. Sighing in relief, she hears someone enter the bathroom but then leave. When she goes to the dormitory stairwell, she sees two bloody heads wrapped in pillowcases and hurries back to the hall. Kat appears and stabs Rose to death before decapitating her. The police officer finds Kat in the boiler room, kneeling in front of the lit boiler and surrounded by the heads of the three victims. Kat stands up and weirdly goes, "Outside done," and when she fails to drop the knife, she gets shot. Joan is in the car with Bill and Linda. Linda reveals to Joan that Rose was brutally murdered 9 years earlier and decapitated. Joan says she's going to be sick, and Bill pulls over. Joan then leans forward, slashes Bill's throat and stabs Linda to death. She cuts off their heads and puts them in a suitcase which she carries to the boarding school, which is now boarded up. Father Breen visits Kat in the psychic ward and performs an exorcism. Kat seems to see a shadow demonic figure. She asks it to stay with her, but it disappears. Joan, who is now revealed to be an older Kat, enters the boiler room with a suitcase, only to find the room dark and cold. She exits school and looks back as she begins to sob, hit with the realization of what she's done. There's a lot to take in here, and there's certainly no clear answer. Whilst the film centres around demonic possession, I personally think it might be a metaphor for how the Catholic Church operates towards young girls. Rose, when worried that she's pregnant, states she might have an abortion, and the two chaperones that are killed are rumoured to be devil worshippers Obviously, the Catholic Church doesn't agree with any of those things, so I think the demon might be a manifestation of all the bad will that Catholics have towards doing these sort of things. There's also similarities to the Slenderman murders that recently happened in the fact that there's a girl who's very clearly manipulated by a malevolent force, so I'm kind of sure that the producers and writers took inspiration from that. I've also seen theories that the film is meant to be a sequel to Donnie Darko. They both contain demonic bunny-eared villains that will the protagonist to do things, and I can sort of see this. Both the characters seem to go along with devilish plots without really resisting them, and there is certainly some similarities there. I don't know for sure though, and the film is very hard to analyse, especially after just one viewing. I'd love to hear your theories on it. I'm sure you probably got better ones than me, so comment below and let me know. Or do you agree with what I said? Who knows? If you want to see more film, game, TV reviews by me, then make sure you head over to definition.co.uk, like and subscribe my channel. Cheers!